Hi, welcome back to the second installment of Indoor Through Fear. Yesterday, we discussed the getting to know you process. Would you hire you? Would you date you? Would you marry you? Would you be your best friend? I just want to step back a little to that video and go over some of the questions that I left with you. And I hope that you did the foundational building for this course. Some of the questions that I asked was, did you in fact learn anything about yourself? Do you know the balance of you? How does your dreams line up with your values? What is it important to do in order for you to go ahead and ask yourself those tough questions? Were you able to be honest with yourself so that you do in fact know where you start your journey? Very important questions and very important thoughts and philosophies. And I like to go back and just touch on the honesty aspect. The biggest thing that we don't do in discussing ourselves internally or with other individuals is asking the hard questions. Those hard questions are so vital to the understanding of every situation, whether it be business or personal relationships. The questions cannot be attacking. The questions need to be probing. The questions cannot be used with a tone of voice that is highly emotional. The questions must be asked from a calm place. The questions must be asked using words that are non-threatening, but getting your point expressed in a way that it will be received in a positive way. These questions are not the end all, they are conversation starters. You see, you can ask a question, but if you don't follow up with either another question for clarity, or you don't follow up letting them know that you understood what they said by repeating their answer and saying, am I correct that? And they will answer with the affirmative or not. You are then able to continue the conversation. Too many times in our conversations with ourselves, our family members, our spouse, our friends, we just rattle off questions so we can check them off the list. Hey, I got that question asked, I guess all's good. Especially in a sales presentation. You know, sales, a lot of times we're giving a way to go ahead and interact with customers. This is a proven formula, therefore you need to do it this way. And that's a checklist. We go ahead and just continually feel better because we went through all the questions, but we never understood the answers. That's the hardest part about answering the honest questions and asking the honest questions, is getting the answers that you need in order to form a proper opinion. Hard, honest questions deserve hard, honest answers. So if you go ahead and you ask a hard question, and the individual, again, whether it be yourself, spouse, family, or friends, do not give you the answer to the question, do not move on to the next question until you understand their answer, or more importantly, they may not understand the question, so reword it. An example would be, if you're in sales, an example would be when you're talking to a client and you ask them to go ahead and purchase whatever it is you're selling. And they say, well, I'm just going to think about it. You never made the sale. Because if they truly understood all the features and benefits, then they would already know. There would be nothing to think about. So in your head, you did the right job, but ultimately you did not convey to the customer or client why they should purchase it, because you didn't ask the hard questions. You more or less circled the wagons, as it were. I think one of the key factors in sales is building that relationship so that there is trust. So when you ask that hard question, the individual does not feel threatened. Instead, They're so happy that you're listening to allow that hard question to be asked. And based on that, they'll give you the right answers. I think one of the interesting factors too about asking the hard questions, especially if you're looking at yourself in the mirror, is you're not going to lie to yourself if it's one-on-one with yourself. Question may be, how did I get here? You can normally tell yourself an entire story. However, quite honestly, the answer should be very short. Because if you tell yourself a story, you're just rationalizing an answer to hopefully move on to the next question. But if the question is, how did I get here? And you stop and pause and you realize, as an example, you got here because you didn't follow through on the road path to your dreams. Period. End of statement. You got an answer to your hard question. No excuses, just the answer. So that is how yesterday should have gone as you were going through your foundational exercises. If you didn't answer or ask those questions in a truthful, honest manner, then just revisit it with a little bit more knowledge today and go back and re-ask those questions. I guarantee you, it's not going to be the first time that you're going to ask yourself the same questions to get different answers over and over again. Because sooner or later, you're going to funnel down to the truth. I always like using the example of a funnel. Okay, when you start a conversation, it's real wide at the top. And as you ask more and more questions, it starts to narrow down and become fast. So all of a sudden, okay, it comes out straight, fluid, and it's all one unit of flow. That's when you start to see the truth. That's when you start to understand it's coming at you, it's moving fast. Be aware so that you can take advantage of those opportunities as they come your way. But you gotta know. You know, it's like trying to catch a fastball with a golf club. If you're not ready, you're gonna get hit. It's gonna pass you by. Be ready. Ask yourself those hard questions. And understand to appreciate you. We're gonna talk about, in another video, the battle within. We're going to discuss ways that you have within yourself the ability to identify why you fight you. This is also a very key part of this program. What are your monsters? What are your demons? What are your weaknesses in overcoming objections or walls? These are things of which have to be identified, but you can only move on if you ask yourself those questions to get a baseline of who you are. In today's words, your avatar. Create your own avatar is what we'll be doing, but only can do it with your help. You can only help you. I can just give you direction. There's a beautiful part about every process. Every process will be successful if you're willing to learn from it. More importantly, put the work in. You've got to be able to put the work in and ask questions. In my book and in my workbook as well, I talk about all these processes and how to start overcoming in a logical, rewarding manner the road to fulfill your dreams. Got a lot of hurdles, man. But you know what? It's easier to get around a hurdle when you are ready to and are armed, to overcome that hurdle. You're much stronger than you think you are. And I'm so excited for tomorrow. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to going ahead and having further conversations with you. Remember, there's nobody better than you. Thanks.